with it. Al Sampson. Come on, say amen. Come on, come on, come on. All you had to do was turn it on. Whenever you come to somebody's house, I'm old school, you know. I'm originally from Massachusetts, a little town called Everett, Massachusetts. But I went to school at Shaw in Raleigh, North Carolina, where the sit-in demonstrations broke out. And whenever I was in the South, I used to like the rural areas because to this day I'm the first, probably the only preacher that I know that has a Department of Agriculture in my church, where I made a marriage between the black farmer down south and the black consumer up south, because we're the only race of people where everybody feeds us but us. And the food we eat is causing the diseases that we have. There are more dialysis machines in our neighborhood than any other neighborhood. There are more diabetes in our neighborhood than any place else. One of the traditions I saw not only in Africa and in the Caribbean, but the deep tradition I saw was that people would always bring a gift when they was coming to somebody's house. Wasn't no more than sweet potato pie, peach cobbler. Somebody ought to be able to know what I'm talking about. And they would bring a gift. And that gift would give them the opportunity to be invited to the dinner table. Have you eaten yet? No, ma'am. Well, why don't you come on and eat with us? And the gift. And so I come bearing gifts. First, because I believe that the mother of the church and the mother of these two great giants needs to get the gift first. You see, I've done a study that I pass on to young black males. All y'all who understand you're young and you're a man, not based on the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. Just raise your hands, because I want to give you some information. It comes from Al Green, area code 901. What Al Green taught me and taught other black males around the country is that black men go to sleep first and black women go to sleep last. So it's very important for you to be sweet to the sister because you go to sleep first. And she will stand over you and watch you snoring and slobbering all at the mouth after you done cussed her out. I wish I could get the sisters to say that. You all say amen in this church? I saw you shouting and clapping. I'm a preacher. It's dialogical. I need some amens. So black men, I want you to remember Al Green, because he didn't have no preacher give him guidance. And he ended up hurting a sister, went to sleep, closed his eyes, and started drooling at the mouth. And she ended up putting grits all on him, not to eat, but to remember the secret. See yourself as a king, brothers, and see the sisters as a queen. Anything less than that, you'll get baptized, not with water. So I want to give the mother of the church a gift entitled, Great is Thy Faithfulness. And she gave birth to the prophet of this great church, but the deep part about it is she has been the seed of 2 giants in her life. And so I want to be able to say thank you. Amen. I want to give 2 other gifts, because you can't come to a bishop. I ain't never preached with 2 bishops. I'm one of the most fortunate black preachers in Black America, because I'm going to do something that historically has never been done before. I'm one of the biblical scholars for the original African Heritage Bible. The original African Heritage. We look at the Bible from Africa. We got enough information now that Charleston Heston was not Moses. Elizabeth Taylor was not the Queen of Sheba. Jesus was not born in Europe with blonde hair and blue eyes. Born in Bethlehem of Judea, up the street from Ethiopia, around the corner from Egypt. My name is in this book as one of the biblical scholars who went to Jerusalem and met with the Ethiopian Christians in Egypt and in Ethiopia, and went to the Dolorosa, the 12 steps of Jesus, and got to the 9th step and met the Ethiopian Christians. Amen. So I'm very clear that the God we serve is giving us a major blessing. One more time, not based on the color of our skin, but based on the content of our character. Yeah. So I want to give a Bible. It's called the Original African Heritage Bible. One of the brothers who was a part of that is a man named Dr. Kane Hope Felder, who was the former professor at Howard University, dean of the School of Religion, who wrote the book Troubling Biblical Waters. And we went there because of a brother named Peebles, who called us in and asked us to put this Bible together. And I want to ask you, I'm just taking the authority. My bishops, I'm going to go back to Chicago and say, I got me 2 bishops. I'm the baddest Negro on the planet. I got 2 bishops, and I spoke at the Kingdom War Church. Make sure I get the names right. I want y'all to have no fight up in here with the wrong name. Bishop Omar Johnson. Jefferson. The other half, Bishop Larry Jones. Thank you. Mama, if they invite me back, I'm going to slip a Bible to you and one to you, First Lady. They got to invite me back. If they don't invite me back, I'll send it by FedEx or UPS. I need you to bow your heads, because I want to talk with God. I want to ask him for permission to preach. Good morning, God. How you doing this morning? Forgive so many of us that might be here assembled in this great church who got up this morning and didn't say good morning to you. You know, I'm your servant, and so I'm not ever going to make that mistake. So I want to say good morning, God, to those who forgot to say, 60 some odd years. I want you to speak to me that I might speak to them. Yeah. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. These folk don't know me and I don't know them. But I just want to be your mailman this morning. Yeah. And I just want to deliver some mail to the hearts, minds, and souls of these thy holy people. Not based on the color of their skin, but based on the content of their character. I just want to close out. Speak to me, Lord, that I might speak to them. In Jesus' name, no other name. Amen. Give God a hand clap. I need you to come with me to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. I'm going to just roam through it. I done got old enough now to have glasses. So let me put my glasses on. Give a commercial out to Foster Grant. Get them in the airport. And it shall come to pass, Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, when someone else has it with me, say amen when you got it. Amen. And it shall come to pass that thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. Thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city. Blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of the ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. We'll move on. 9th verse. The Lord shall establish thee a holy people unto himself. And he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways, and all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee, because they're going to call you by the name of the Lord. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, and the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Listen to this. The Lord shall open up thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his seasons, and to bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail. Let me say that again for those of you who just woke up. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. Some old folk used to say, and may the Lord add a blessing to the reading of the, I don't say that because he already added a blessing. In Revelations, he said, you ain't got to add one jot or one tittle. Here's the subject. God made us his private property. No trespassing. Would somebody say that with me? God made us.
God made us
his private property.
his private property.
No trespassing.
No trespassing.
So I got a sign. Private property. This church don't say amen. I'm gonna give you $20. When you say amen. No trespassing. Too many people come to church with too much pain. Too many problems. Too many people come to church with a lot of contradictions.
Right.
Some people feel cursed.
Yeah.
They feel that because the mama was no good, daddy was no good, therefore they ain't no good.
Yeah.
But I've come to make an announcement this morning.
Yes, sir.
God made us his private property.
Yeah.
No trespass. Don't see yourself as a pimp. See yourself as the Son of God.
Amen.
Don't see yourself as a... Tell the rap brothers and sisters. Start calling you out your name. You're a queen, and the man is the king. Don't let nobody call you out your name.
Yes, sir.
From this day forward, now I don't know what they've been doing. I don't know what you've been tolerating.
Yes, sir.
But the genius of Martin Luther King, this is social justice Sunday. The genius of Martin Luther King was that he realized that you represented the sons and daughters of God.
Yeah.
I'm an adopted child. I only saw my mama 3 times in the mental hospital because she got violated, brother. What's your name? What's your name? Huh? Joseph. See, you know you're going to Your mama said his name shall be Lord. His name shall be Joseph.
Yeah.
You ain't even got no coat. Come in here without no coat. You're perpetrating. Tell me my name is Joseph. I'm an adopted child. My mama's name was Flora. Only time I saw her when I came home from school at Shaw University, Raleigh, North Carolina. She was in a mental hospital because in 1938, During them days, they didn't have no psychiatrists and counselors and all that. And here's the deep part. I've never seen my real daddy. My uncle, Paul, was her brother. And he adopted me as his only begotten son. And I'm in the Bible. I got in the book. My name is in this book. Friday the 13th, I spoke before 1,300 students in an integrated school in Everett, Massachusetts. I was the guest speaker. And I won the oratorical contest. The year before that, I didn't make it because I had a stuttering problem. But I went there, back again, Friday the 13th, 1956. And I ended up winning the oratorical contest. That night, Friday night, I went to church, sat in the back of the seat at Emmanuel Baptist Church. And I read from the 13th chapter of Corinthians, Bishop. And a preacher who was a guest evangelist looked around and said something to my pastor. And then when it came time after the sermon, he said, does anybody want to come up for prayer? Well, in the Baptist church, everybody got to go. You look foolish if you sitting there and everybody else up in front of you. Everybody else. That means nothing to me. I didn't want me to get. And he started from here and he started going all the way down. And he got to me and he said, one day you'll be a great preacher. Now you got to understand, I'm Peck's bad boy, Joseph. What's your name? Huh? David. You should be hitting around David. You stay there with the DA. I ended up on Friday the 13th, and then I come up the steps at my house in Massachusetts, 13 Baldwin Avenue, and the phone rings. It's Dr. Grady Demas Davis, the Dean of the School of Religion, and he said, I want you to come on the show. I said, I can't come. I said, I've just been called into the ministry, and I got to go find me a school that teaches the Bible. He laughed. He said, Shaw University is the oldest black Baptist college in Black America, and that's what we do, son. I'm offering you a scholarship. And I dropped the phone and started shouting hallelujah. But I'm Peck's bad boy. Mom, I can confess now. She gone. My mama's gone now. Mootie's gone. I was adopted by Mootie. But I used to always lie. And I got caught in a lie. And I said to Mama, I said, Mama, can I pray? What's your name? Aunt what? Oh, Angel from this day forward. And I ended up making a deal with Mama. I said, Mama, can I pray? She said, sure, son. No problem. And I knelt down and I prayed, dear God, I'm sorry for lying. Please keep me out of the mess so I don't lie no more. And Mama was right there. And after the prayer, she hugged me. Said, that was a nice prayer, son. I said, thank you, Mama. 3-4 days later, I'm back in some more mess. Lying again. Mama said, don't you want to pray this time, son? Yes, ma'am. I said, man, I done tricked Mama once. She want me to trick her again. So she would go on and stop praying. I said, dear God, My mom was a big woman. And I could hear her coming through the air, getting ready to whip me. And she said, "This is the answer from God." And she beat me all over the house. You all don't know nothing about no whipping. Wasn't no DC Air Force around when y'all don't know nothing about shoes and branches from the tree. We used to get some serious whippings. But all thing I'm trying to say is that God has put something on me when I was a little boy.
Yeah.
And God would not make you if He didn't want to make you.
Yes, sir.
And you got to be who you are because God made you.
Yeah.
So from this day forward, what I want you to say is something real simple. God made us His private property. No trespass. I don't hear somebody not saying it. Somebody don't believe that. When a man called you out your name, you accepted it. When people said to you and your children, your mama wasn't no good, you ain't gonna be no good, you accepted it. When you felt that you wasn't nothing, you accepted it. But here come a preacher, I'm your mailman, I was coming to give you some mail.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
God made us His private property. No trespassing. I even bought a sign so that you.
Yeah.
This is a sign that's usually in the yard.
Yeah.
Some people let the sign go up, beware the dog. You let a dog get up in your house, get up in your business. Here comes the preacher.
Yes, sir.
Saying God made us His private property, no trespassing. You get to rolling your eyes at me. Some of y'all already said, "Man, it don't mean it. They didn't have to do it, man." You haven't been through many dangers, toils, and snares. Old preacher said to a young preacher, he said, "The devil ain't even spit on you yet." I was on a Bible class with some folk out in Nigeria, and the lady on the class said, how long we gonna have to keep fighting? And I said, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
He said, I'm tired. I don't want to fight no more. I said, it's too late. Welcome to the planet Earth.
Yes, sir.
I said, did you see the news today? Where Trump said about the Haitians.
Amen.
And Trump said what he said about the Africans.
Amen.
I said that have you ever heard this? Richard Wright's The Outsider. Ralph Ellison's The Invisible Man. James Baldwin, Nobody Knows My Name. Frantz Fanon's Wretched of the Earth. And I'm Claude Brown's Man-Child in the Promised Land. I'm Maya Angelou's I Rise, I Rise, I Rise.
Amen.
Jesse Jackson said it another way. He said, I am somebody. Well, I'm telling you today,
Yes,
Sir.
God made us His private property.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No trespass.
Yes, sir. Amen.
In my church, we have a justice program. We have brothers and sisters who have to do community service because they messed up in school. And so we bring them in And I tell them about the 7 steps of nonviolence: information, education, purification, negotiation, confrontation, reconciliation, There's a whole process on how to behave on the planet. And then I talk about the 7 institutions: family, church, school, which is our values. And then switch: military, economics, government, communication. The economy produces, the military protects, and the government legislates, and communication explains what the economy produces, the legislation legislates. I wish I could be heard up in here. Family institutions versus object-oriented institutions. Dr. King taught us 7 steps of nonviolence, the 7 institutions that impact our lives and give us the value system that we have. For the areas that Africans and Americans don't bother with, because they have a structure: is food, clothing, shelter, and water. No church that I know of has an economic blueprint of liberation. How you gonna be down there, Ezekiel 37, with that dry bones? Son of man, can these bones live? Yeah, you get them up out the cemetery. What you gonna do with them? I'm gonna take them to the 12th chapter of Corinthians. What you gonna do when you get there? Well, I can't take them to the 13th chapter on love until they first become the body of Christ. Yeah. What you talking about, preacher? Well, in the church on Sunday morning, the preacher says, "Will the visitors please stand?" All preachers, all churches do it. Don't make no sense to me. Ain't what I do. When I come to a church, I ask the question: is anybody in here in computers? Raise your hand. Anybody know about website design and all that? Raise your hand. Raise your hand, sister. Don't give me no shorthand. Help them say, God made us in his private property, no trespassing. Yeah. Is anybody around? Anybody here know how to make clothes and sew and embroidery? Or somebody said yes. Where? Don't give me no Baptist shouting. Who else? 1, 2, 3. Who else? So next time I come, I want you to have a design flow. I wonder who got sewing machines at home and they ain't using them. Raise your hands. Did anybody understand what I'm telling you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We ought to find some property or find a building right here. Is it open every day? And then we ought to be able to manufacture our own clothes. Anybody up in here truck drivers? Raise your hand. You got no truck drivers up here? No? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, where you been? How many up in here are veterans? Raise your hands. You see, that's what I'm talking about. See, you have to put together the body of Christ. Yeah. And you have to create the data bank. Yeah. Yeah. We've had voter registration drives, but we've never had an unemployment registration drive. For those of you who just woke up, we have had, how many of y'all registered voters? Raise your hands. Yeah. Okay. Now, and what I'm saying is, we've had voter registration drive. We never had an unemployment registration drive. Now, watch this. Do you know 2010, 2020, they're going to do a census on you and me. Everybody going to have a census. Somebody going to come around, knock on your door and ask you, who's up in here? You've been laying up in here for the last 10 years. Who's up in here? That's a census. Where's my computer system? Computer system. Computer system. Watch me, not them. Watch me. What's your name? Now, you know, election means that you're supposed to give people power. You're supposed to have a concoction. Then when they drink that, they feel different. I want you to be the computer guru and get you a computer club up in here. Amen. 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 Yeah, why would you be sitting around and then somebody got a profile on you? Man. See, the black church has got to deal with the body of Christ. Amen. Otherwise, you're still in the cemetery. Amen. Full of the Holy Ghost, happy. Amen. Son of man, can these bones live? Yeah, get them up out of. When I was a little boy down south, y'all too young to remember. When I was a little boy down south, they would say they used to have these little groups that would come say them bones, them dry bones, them bones, them dry bones. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Them bones, them dry bones. Don't hear the word of the Lord. And then somebody was saying, and the neck bone connected to the hip bone, and the hip bone connected to the wood bone. And the wood. I said, oh my God. Joseph, I said, oh my God. I flunked biology. I ain't know nothing about all them bones. I said, man, I'm so happy God made me a preacher and not a bone specialist. But that's where we were because we saw ourselves in the cemetery. It's 2018 now, it's 2018. So I want to be able to. I don't want to hear a mama cuss out her child. Your daddy was no good, therefore you ain't going to be no good. Shut up, because your daddy ain't, no. The child will get grown like you. And the child will say, my mama told me your daddy was no good, so I ain't. Preach. Why don't you try to go 90 days without hollering at the child? And every time the child is out of order, why don't you just say to the child, come here, you want me to hug you. You trying to get some attention. Yes, sir. So let me hug you. Yeah. And let me tell you how much I love you. Yeah. Why don't you try that? Why don't you try that? So that there's a thing called tabula sclerosa. A baby's mind is written on by his mama, daddy, in 7 institutions. You right across the child's mind. Your mama's no good, therefore you ain't gonna be no good. Page 1. Page 2. You ain't nothing. Page 3. Go to school. You need Ritalin. Your child is too active. Everybody right across your child's head. So by the time they're 14, 15 years of age, they're breaking into somebody's house, knocking somebody out because everybody said ain't nothing to them. But I'm the preacher this morning who comes and says God made us his private property. Yeah, no trespassing. Yeah. Now, I wrote it down 3 o'clock this morning, no trespassing. I'm the private property of God. But I realized that y'all got selfies. Y'all been taking selfies. Take a selfie. Well, here's what I'd like you to do. Just pause for a moment. What's your name? Huh? Mia. That's one of the purposes of Barack. Mia. And what's your name? Kiara. Come on, you get ready to go to heaven. My daughter's name is Carol. Amen. I mean, here's what everybody got a phone. Take your phone out. Take your phone out. Now, I'm about to close out because some people done roll their eyes at me. Yeah. You know how to use it. Okay, everybody got a phone. Hold your phone up. Okay. Oh, now what I want you to do, not anybody else, I want you to take a picture of yourself. And I want you to say, God made me. I am the private property of God. Every time somebody hurts you, every time somebody says, I don't care nothing about you, you just go on in and get yourself. Get yourself. Say, I'm the private property of God. I'm not I can't cuss up in the book. I'm out of Chicago. So in Chicago, we had on the south side in Woodlawn, we had the Blackstone Rangers, the Jeff Ford. And then in Inglewood, we had the disciples. They call themselves the gangster disciples now, but we had David Barksdale. And then we had the Black Panthers. And then we ended up with the vice lords who needed some advice from the Lord. So you don't have to have all them labels. From this day forward, God made us his private property. No trespass. You ought to say to your little children, they on the computer now. Yeah. You ought to get them to just look at themselves and say, I'm a queen. If they finger, I'm a queen. Now you ought to say to the son, have you said today that I'm a king? Y'all put it on the mirror in the morning. I'm the son and daughter of God. Amen. I'm a king. I'm a queen. Amen. You ought to get up in the morning, just say it. Now I'll do it different if I can confess, but don't hold it to me. Don't run out talking what the preacher said. But in my mirror, I put on my mirror. You're the baddest nigga. Because I'm in Chicago, I got the bass looking used by the band. But I promise when I go back, I'll have it in my mirror and say, God made us his private property. No trespass. I'm closing out now. I'm closing out. There was a sister that wrote the song. Y'all know the song? Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. But she said I'm all in church now. Why did she say that? Kirk Franklin, why? They both wrote the song, but why did they say that? And I'm telling a man and the whole family is sitting up on TV. Write this down. Write this down. Write this one down. It's going to blow your mind. Watch this. Everybody loves... What is it? Everybody loves Raymond. Huh? Y'all ever heard the yeah. I mean, say amen to me. Everybody loves Raymond. Amen. Watch this one. Everybody hates Chris. What's your name? Omar. Everybody hates Chris. Huh? But everybody loves. Isn't that deep, bro? What's your name? Huh? Brandon, isn't that deep? Everybody loves Raymond. Everybody, every week, everybody hates Chris. Do you know what it means to be a black child in America? every week, you got to read the words. Everybody loves me. Everybody eats first. I got to get out of here. Okay, I'm leaving. I see y'all rolling your eyes out. One of the things I want you to do is remember these words. Marvin Sapp, he saw the best in me. When everyone else around could only see the worst in me. Can't tell you all one more time. I said he saw the best in me. When everyone else around me saw the worst in me.
Amen.
Saw the worst in me. Have you ever lived in a world where you felt that you were cursed? I was telling Bishop Jefferson the other day that I had a lady in my church. I'll never forget her, Mildred Washington. I was teaching the class and looking at the Bible from African eyes, and she thought under the story of Ham, Shem, and Japheth, she really thought that she was cursed because the Bible that she was taught is that God cursed Ham. It's called the Hamitic curse. But when I showed her that God did not curse Ham, he cursed the ground. She broke down and cried. She's 60-some odd years of age. Tore up the class, broke down and cried. She said, I come out of Birmingham, Alabama, and I always thought that I was cursed. I wonder how many people sitting up in here really believe that they're cursed. Because somebody told them that they were cursed. Somebody said that your daddy ain't no good, your mama's no good, therefore you ain't going to be good. But Marvin Sampson saw the best in me.
Yeah. Amen.
When everybody else saw the worst in me. One day I walked into Dr. King's office, and I said, Dr. King, I ain't never been ordained in the ministry. I got called in the ministry in 1956. Here it is 1966, and I ain't never got called in the ministry. I can't baptize folks. I can't marry folks because I ain't got no ordination papers. He picked up the telephone and said, no problem. Martin King only ordained 3 men, 2 of them assistant pastors at his church. One of them is back in Atlanta right now, Albert Love. The other brother is down in Alabama that came down with me, Walter McCall. But I was the only one inside his organization that he ordained. And only because I heard somebody say in this book, ask not. Huh? Asking shall not be given, knocking. In this book, next time I come, I'm going to talk about Facebook versus face this book. If Trump bothers me, I'm going to tell him, talk to your tongue before your tongue talks. Talk to your tongue before your tongue talks. Somebody say that's enough, Reverend. No, it's okay. Go on, say it. Just know I got a round trip ticket. Down back to Chicago. Because I know y'all wasn't going to let me stay down here. So I said, make the trip, round trip. So I can get on back. Now I'm an old country boy. My mama came out of North Carolina. And she used to fix the Thanksgiving dinner. Some of y'all don't know nothing about fixing Thanksgiving dinner because now you can order it up. You know, but she used to painstaking. You know what I'm talking about. And so, here's what she would do. Her science was that after we ate, we'd have to sit and watch Mama eat the bones. She would crack the bones. She cracked the bones because inside the bones was the marrow. And that's where the cartilage was, inside of the marrow.
Yeah.
And then at the end of her little ritual, I'm talking about every Thanksgiving, she would say, this is, what is it? What? All right, I know some folk out there. Said this is the wishbone. And she would say, who wants to make a wish? And I'd always raise my hand. And she said, well, you made a wish last year. I said, Mama, but this is a new year. I want to keep making a wish, Mama. How many of y'all remember when Mama used to have the wishbone in the family? Y'all do turkeys, but you don't do no wishbones. You sit around the table with family coming from all walks of life, but don't nobody stop a minute and make a wish with the wishbone. So I got two. One that's broken. Because a lot of people have made some wishes and they're broken.
Amen.
See what I'm saying? What's your name, brother? Craig. Some people made wishes and the wishes are messed up. They broke the bone. They broke the wish. Somebody make New Year's resolutions, but they break the wish. But ain't nobody told you to make a New Year's resolution. Make a resolution every day. Every moment, every hour. When I get in my car in Chicago, I get in the garage, I say a prayer. Y'all ain't from Chicago. Y'all don't know. Some folk are high on the highway. I'm trying to get home, Mama, safe and sound. They're shooting on the highway in Chicago. Not here. I know they don't do that down here. But in Chicago, they're shooting in Chicago. So when I get in my garage, I had to say a prayer. Dear God, I'm getting ready to go out now. Can you bring me some angels and some ancestors? I need 10,000 witnesses. I don't want to be by myself on the road. I know about GPS. Listen to this. I know about GPS, but I want you to bring me in this car. GPS, God's powerful spirit. Somebody say. I want you to bring me God's powerful spirit. I might get lost on the way. Somebody might cut in front of me, acting like they have to go someplace in a hurry. You want to run over me? I pray in my car. I talk to the Lord in my car before I leave. I'm not ever going to get too big for my britches. But I can't talk to the Lord in my car before I turn the ignition on. Some of y'all just be jumping up in the car. Baptist Buick, Presbyterian Pontiac, Catholic Cadillac, Mercedes Methodist, Uzuzu Islamic. Get up in the car. But I pray. I pray in my car. And then when I get back, and go in the garage. I say, thank you, Jesus. I lived the dawn of a new day to see some new thing occur. I say, thank you, Jesus. And then I go upstairs and I turn the news on, and I see that the very road that I was on was the one that had some accidents. Two brothers had a Lamborghini. One of the brothers that was driving was doing 100 miles an hour. I just left I-57. Yeah. And he hit a black dirt, they call it. It's an ice patch. I watched the 10 o'clock news. Car was totally crushed. Both young brothers, 20-some odd, 30-some odd years of age, both of them died in the car. Lamborghini, 100 miles an hour. And I said, oh my God. I was on I-57. I'm not getting to it. So y'all have Thanksgiving, but you ain't never made no wish. You suffer with pain. You suffer with the memory and the loss of other folk. You ought to make a wish. You ought to make a wish that you stay God's private property. Make a wish that God will make sure that you become a doctor or a lawyer or a candlestick maker. Make a wish. This is the story of a little boy named Theo who woke up one morning and asked his Mom, what if there were no black people in the world? Well, his mother thought about that for a moment and then said, son, follow me around today and let's just see what it would be like if there were no black people in the world. Now go get dressed and we'll get started. Theo ran to the room to put on his clothes and shoes. His mama took one look at him and said, Theo, where are your shoes? And those clothes are all wrinkled, son. I must iron them. But when she reached for the ironing board, it was no longer there. You see, Sarah Boone, a black woman, invented the ironing board, and Jane M.E. Metzliger, a black man, invented the shoe lasting machine. Oh well, she said, please go and do something to your hair. Theo ran in his room to comb his hair, but the comb was not there. You see, Walter Simmons, a black man, invented the comb. Theo decided to just brush his hair, but the brush was gone. You see, Lydia O. Newman, a black female, invented the brush. Well, this was a sight. Those shoes, wrinkled clothes, hair a mess, even Mom's hair. Without the hair care inventions of Madam C.J. Walker, well, you get the picture. Mom told Theo, let's do our chores around the house and then take a trip to the grocery store. Theo's job was to sweep the floor. He swept and swept and swept. When he reached for the dustpan, it was not there. You see, Lloyd P. Ray, a black man, invented the dustpan, so he swept his pile of dirt over in the corner and left it there. He then decided to mop the floor, but the mop was gone. You see, Thomas W. Stewart, a black man, invented the mop. Theo yelled to his mom, Mom, I'm not having any luck. Well, son, she said, let me finish washing these clothes and we will prepare a list for the grocery store. When the wash was finished, she went to place the clothes in the dryer, but it was not there. You see, George T. Simone, a black man, invented the clothes dryer. Not Bendix, a black man. Not Westinghouse, a black man, asked Theo to go get a pencil and some paper to prepare their list for the market. So Theo ran for the paper and pencil, but noticed the pencil lead was broken. Well, he was out of luck because John L. Love, a black man, invented the pencil sharpener. Mom reached for a pen, but it was not there because William Purvis, a black man, invented the fountain pen, not Bic. As a matter of fact, Lee Burbridge invented the typewriting machine and W.A. Lovett, the advanced printing press. Theo and his mama decided to head out to the market. Well, when Theo opened the door, he noticed the grass was so high as he was tall. You see, the lawnmower was invented by John A. Burr, a black man. They made their way over to the car and found that it just wouldn't go. You see, Richard B. Spikes, a black man, invented the automatic gear shift, not General Motors. And Joseph Gamel invented the supercharged system for internal combustion engines, not Buick. They noticed that the few cars that were moving were running into each other and having wrecks because there were no traffic signals. You see, Garrett A. Morgan, a black man, invented the traffic light. Well, it was getting late, so they walked to the market, got their groceries, returned home. Just when they were about to put away the milk, eggs, and butter, they noticed the refrigerator was gone. You see, John Standard, a black man, invented the refrigerator. So they just left the food on the counter. By this time, Theo noticed he was getting mighty cold. Mom went to turn up the heat, and what do you know? Alice H. Parker, a black woman, invented the heating furnace. You know, the sisters love warmth. Alice H. Parker, a black female, invented the heating furnace. Even in the summer time, they would have been put out of luck because Frederick M. Jones, a black man, invented the air conditioner. It was almost time for Theo's daddy to arrive home. He usually takes the bus, but there was no bus because its precursor was the electric trolley invented by another black man, Elbert R. Robinson. He usually takes the elevator from his office to the 20th floor, but there was no elevator because Alexander Miles, a black man, invented the elevator. He also usually dropped off the office mail at a nearby mailbox, but it was no longer there because Philip B. Downing, a black man, invented the letter drop mailbox, and William Barry invented the postmarking and canceling machine. Theo and his mama sat at the kitchen table with their head in their hands. When the father arrived, he added, "Why are you sitting in the dark?" Why? Because Lewis Howard Latimer, a black man, invented the filament within the light bulb, not Thomas Edison. Theo quickly warned and learned what it would be like if there were no black people in the world. Not to mention if he were ever sick and needed blood. Charles Drew, a black scientist, found a way to preserve and store blood, which led to his starting the world's first blood bank. And what if a family member had to have heart surgery? This would not have been possible without Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, a black doctor who performed the first open heart surgery. So if you ever wondered, like Theo, where would we be without us? Well, it's pretty plain to see. We would still be in the dark. So we got to give him a standing ovation. Got to stand. Now.
Stand to your feet, everybody. He said something that I want to just talk to you for 1 second about, and maybe you didn't, maybe you know, or maybe you don't know. He said that you're private property. Somebody say private property. And this is very important. He said there's no trespassing. This is what this means. Today, when I was listening, that there are so many people who are violated without knowledge. Individuals those who allow stuff to just take residence inside of them. Some people allow hate to be in their soul. Some people have allowed those who you don't even know to keep coming in and out through their speech, through their ideas, and they keep making you unaware of what God really has for you. But today, I want you to hear this. If you don't hear anything else, because I was listening. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. I wish I had a witness. I want you to hear this, and I'm serious. Please listen to me. You are intentionally made. God knew your ideas. He knew your thoughts. He knew you. He understood you. The scripture says, before the foundation of the world, you were already conceived in God. You are not an accident. This is not happenstance. It's intentional. Listen, the reason God intentionally made you like he made you, because only you can do what you can do for this earth. There's only one person that's designed to do what God has called you to do. I want you to listen to me. I said there's only one person designed to do what God has called you to do. The enemy don't want you to be angry. He don't want you to, this is what he wants you to do. He wants you to miss what God has for you. He don't matter if you're happy and miss it, if you're sad. He just desires that you miss what God has for you. Can I really tell you something? Can I tell you something? God wants you to be your best at all times. So that what you have in you can bless someone else who is at their worst moment, and they're looking for someone to explain to them, how do we get through this? And then you will stand up and say, can I be a witness? If God did it for me, oh, I wish I had a witness here. I said, if God did it for me, he can do it for you. I tell people, no matter what you are going through, somebody went through it before you, and if they made it, you can make it. Why don't you look at your neighbor and say, you can make it? Tell them, say, you can make it. It don't feel like it right now, but you can make it. The enemy thinks he got you down, but you gon' make it. Oh, I feel the Holy Ghost. I said, you gonna make it. So look. You may not understand all of the reasons. Now hear me. This is really important. You may not get all the reasons that God brought you through it. You just gotta trust that he's the one that's bringing you. If you got that, you really say amen.